Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll get started. I know we have a council member on the way. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 17th City Council meeting. We are streaming live on City Madison YouTube channel and archiving the meeting there. We have an important agenda tonight. We will begin as with our other meetings by inviting you to stand with us to recite the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Patrick Tevenow?
Here.
Carla Krebs?
Here.
Lucy DiTillo is absent. Josh Schaefer?
Here.
Joel Storm is on the way. Jim Bartlett?
Here.
Jim Bartlett is online, and Josh Wilbur.
Here.
Thank you. Council, do you have any comments on the minutes from the last meeting dated Tuesday, March the 3rd? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. All right, we do have one guest tonight for presentation of Intiva Technology Report. Mindy, if you'd like to do an introduction.
Good evening. Yes, I'd like to introduce Aaron Taylor and James Scott. They are our two closely working partners from Intiva, who used to be the Purple Guys that we initially contracted with for our upgrades in technology. So I thought it would be a good time, after we've gotten to this point and worked with them for 3 years now on everything that we've done, for them to give you a little update on where we are in the process, what's left to come, why it's important, and some of the changes that we've made. So I would invite them up so that they can give you a little more information than I'm capable of doing.
Welcome.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for that introduction, Mindy. My name is James Scott, and I am a solutions consultant with Intiva, and this is Aaron Taylor. He's the technical account manager.
Hey, James, let me ask you, just turn the mic, just point that up to you a little bit. There
Sure.
you go.
Like that?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. And Aaron Taylor, he's the technical account manager for Intiva, and we partner with y'all on all of your technology needs. Hopefully. Awesome, thank you, Mindy. Over the past few years, we've partnered with you on a few of our goals. Some of those goals include technology modernization. So we've partnered with you on focusing on some of Madison's technology infrastructure and supporting some of your digital transformation goals. Enhanced security measures, so we've provided some robust cybersecurity protocols that we've implemented, and those were in order to protect the city and some of its public-facing services. Operational efficiency, so streamlined communication systems, improved collaboration, so think Teams, Microsoft Office, SharePoint, and operational workflows across all the departments, and sustainable / scalable digital solutions. So that'll give you guys scalability moving forward as you grow. So we're your technology. Key initiatives that we've completed up to this point. So when we first came on, a couple of the things that we did was email migration and implementing Microsoft Teams migrations. So that included a technology gap assessment across your collaboration and communication services, MFA setup on select user accounts, DNS cutovers, And then, of course, just strong end-user support from our managed services teams. Also, Teams migration, so tenant setup, user account creations, getting files transferred over into Microsoft's environment. And then also constructural consulting on like how the best way you can architect your data, hierarchical format files, folders, and within SharePoint. Also post-migration training, so training sessions that allowed the staff and employees just to get more familiar with Microsoft's email and Teams environments and those tools. Networking and security enhancements, so infrastructure and security upgrades. So network equipment was replaced and purchased and implemented across a lot of the city's buildings, including this one. And that was just in an effort to increase performance, provide more reliability on all the infrastructure between locations. Firewall and VPN security, so firewalls were implemented across all the locations, and that provides just an extra layer of protection in your networks. And VPNs were enabled also, and as we talk about Azure, those VPNs are what allow you to communicate into your Azure environment, which is on Microsoft's cloud. Cloud and backup solutions, so Azure cloud configurations and Azure backups. So Azure is Microsoft's platform where you can virtualize servers, so we moved from on-prem server appliances into Microsoft's cloud. It's very efficient, very secure, and then backups also are there, so they take daily snapshots. Did you have a question?
Yes,
Sorry.
have we moved all of our physical servers to the cloud so far at this point,
Correct, yep.
including the police?
Well, they have an on-prem server for their cameras,
Okay,
their
so
body
that's still
cameras. Correct, yep, that's still in the police department, yep. And we did that because all of that data moving into Microsoft's cloud would be just abhorrent. So having a physical server on-prem for their cameras is the most efficient way for them to use and operate.
But all the other ones are on cloud now.
Correct, yep.
And I'll assume, to follow up to that, I'll assume that there is a backup to the backup that, it gets done, right? So there's replication somewhere so that if for some reason something happens.
Yeah, so on Microsoft's platform, they do, daily snapshots, and then their environment itself is actually replicated across their data centers.
Yeah. Usually that's the case with clouds, but I just want to make sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Thanks.
No, it's a great question, yep. And then user account audits, so when we came in, there were a few stale user accounts, so just keeping things cleaned up and shrunk down, and then making sure that no, a user that's left is not just remaining out there.
Have we dealt with all the shared sign-ons at this point? Shared user accounts that were prevalent at
Those are still in existence and
times,
working
on it?
through those, yes, yep. Microsoft's implementation, so again, to kind of further, peel the onion back a little bit more on the Azure and server side. So, all your servers are now in Azure. Critical systems like UMS, KeyFund, and your domain controllers were migrated into Azure's environment just to make it more modernized. Secure remote access, so VPN gateways were established from here and some of the other locations so that you can securely access those servers without there, being any public-facing, information. Data redundancy and backups, so again, we've kind of talked about that. Azure's backups are in place, and that allows for a lot of redundancy and disaster recovery capabilities. And then identity management is within Entra. You do have some DCs where some users still reside, but that's an ongoing process too, to just get them all in Entra. Additional initiatives, operational enhancements, so consistent branding. So one of the things that we did 2 years ago maybe, so standardized email signatures, and that just helped create a more uniform brand identity in your emails across the city, so that way everybody has the exact same signature format. Network connectivity enhancements, so we put network infrastructure at the Crystal City Beach Pool, and added backup cellular capabilities here, so if Metronet were to have an outage, Verizon's 5G network would kick in. Advanced monitoring systems, so we collaborated with the wastewater treatment folks on how to get Waterly devices implemented on their network so they have a better way to monitor and operationally control the wastewater. And then system performance updates, so when we took over, we started managing all of your Windows 10 and 11 upgrades across all the departments and all the locations citywide. Current value delivered, and I'll let
Thank you. I will pass it right back to you. Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron. Pleasure to meet you. Hopefully you guys get used to this after some time. It's a little nerve-wracking for me, but it's a pleasure to meet you guys. So, your comprehensive managed service. So at a baseline, we're talking about unlimited remote support, workstation monitoring, patch, and inventory tracking for IT management. Beyond that, we have managed endpoint detection and response with a 24/7 SOC that is monitoring those alerts to protect against cybersecurity threats and ensure system integrity. In fact, we work with Mindy. Mindy can vouch that we have caught things after hours and made sure they've been shut down and had the minimal risk possible to get you back up and running with the least amount of downtime possible. Is everyone familiar with managed endpoint detection and response? Okay, so it's a very interesting tool set. So your antivirus that everyone's used to hearing. Antivirus is this is a known good or a known bad. So someone always gets caught. So there's a first. A group of people get compromised by a file until it shares enough information that, okay, no, this is bad, we need to start blocking it. This does not only look for good files, bad files. This actually looks at what the files are doing. What are they trying to reach? Are they trying to do something suspicious? Are they trying to elevate permissions? So, in fact, it's been regulated with a lot of government companies to have EDR in place. So really, it's the only way to go. So you have a great solution in place there. Our security alert and management. So not only do you have EDR on your computer, so that's protecting your computers, but your biggest threat vector is your email. So email is available from anywhere. That's the benefit of it. You don't have to drive to work just to check your phone really quick. You're on vacation, everyone puts an update. So we have what's called Blackpoint. Blackpoint will monitor logins, and anything suspicious, it'll suspend, it'll create a ticket, we'll reach out, hey, is this person traveling? And they didn't let us know they're traveling. Or that's weird, they were in Indiana, and then 2 hours later, then Bangladesh, and that's impossible. So, stop, take a look at it. So that is not only protecting your internal environment, but we're getting alerts for your external, which is very important as we're starting to move to a more cloud-based structure. Next item would be email security services. So, overall spam protection, that's the very basic, the pumpkin spice that you can get for it. But we go beyond that. So we do phishing prevention campaigns. So we send campaigns that'll tell us that we review with Mindy of these people clicked on things they shouldn't have. It's not malicious, but it would have been. This is a clearly not a legitimate email. And so that way we can look and have a conversation of hey, don't put in your credentials when you're doing that. And on top of that, we provide training using real-world examples that are up to date of what current threat actors are doing, so you know what's in the new.
What's been your stats from the campaigns?
I would love to give that to you. I just don't have it on me right now, but we can pull it up and I can get it to you.
Yeah, just we do the same, and there's always somebody that clicks it, right? So what is the response to that? Do we have a formal response where it's okay, well, that user now we need to get them through training again. They need to understand what they did and what to look for.
Yes, it is a two-part response. Obviously, they're employees of the city of Madison, so there needs to be a conversation there. But then it's also assigned new training where, hey, you missed this. Let's take you back through what we did wrong, and I'll assign this training for that.
Mindy, are we doing that?
Proactive, to that level, or we do regular training.
Yeah, but
they issue it.
So when you get the report that there was a failed campaign, are we reaching out to the person that did that and saying, hey, this is what happened, this is what you did, you need to go through this training?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Right. And then, overall DNS and SSL management, DNS is just name resolution. There's certain records that need to be in place to make sure that your email is not marked as spam. Hey, there we go. So me and James have worked with you guys for quite a bit. In fact, James started off, so I'm going to let him do the in-progress because he's been very vital in these projects, and then there's going to be some future items I want to talk about based on just recent things that have happened. So I will pass it back to you. I might permanently leave him with the remote, but
All right, so future projects that are in progress, so the UMS server upgrade, so we've been collaborating with Brian and his team over at the utility department to talk through like what a possible UMS server upgrade would look like. We're having more discussions, whether are we going full SaaS with UMS, so it's a browser-based solution, or are we actually, putting some more money into the UMS server and get it up to where it needs to be. Airport network solutions, so we're working with Brent right now at the airport to talk through, or to go through an implementation where we're enabling Wi-Fi solutions at the hangars. We're shrinking down the tech stack and combining it while also segmenting the network, so the network at the airport proper, the corporate network, still stays segregated away from airport client-facing traffic, if that makes sense. So somebody that rents the hangar won't be able to see the airport's network.
it's like a complicated guest Wi-Fi.
Exactly, yeah. Yep. And then Windows 10 computer replacements, so we've gone through the process of replacing the old Windows 10 machines that were not capable to get Windows 11, and they just needed hardware replaced at the gate.
I still like to steer, but all right. So with recent activities, everything that you're looking for, security happens internally, but your biggest attack vector is external. Email, like I mentioned, is the biggest one, but there's also VPN, and it's necessary for some people to have access to VPN to do their jobs when they're remotely. We got the project approved. We need to implement MFA on your VPN. That is your deadbolt, because the only thing protecting VPN is username or password, which has proven to be easily brute forced. And it's kind of, if you only have a password, you basically don't have enough security, is what it comes down to. So the MFA is that deadbolt to prevent people from just trying to bust the door down. That being said, MFA for Microsoft 365. Currently it was only select users. I know this is a large, conversation that we need to have holistically, of not just one or two people or this handful of people here. Everyone should really have MFA on Microsoft 365. And the great news, you already have the licensing we need to get you set up correctly. All it is creating a policy, working on documentation, and then just having end user expectations set. So that way they know, okay, when I log in, this is what it looks like. Currently, cyber insurance, they basically go after whatever cost them the most money last year. And MFA on email is getting to the point where some people will not get covered if it's not on there. So a really big, important item that we cover is MFA for Microsoft 365. So I can work with Mindy on that, but really just as a whole, we just need to make sure people are invested and understand the reason for it, because I know it feels like a pain, but nowadays, like, you log into your bank, you got to do MFA. Anything that's semi-secure, you have to do MFA. So at this point, it's kind of a have to. So just setting those user expectations. We usually don't have a lot of people being like, oh, I don't want to do this, this is a problem. But we'll work through whatever we need to. I'll work with Mindy. I just wanted to share that these are things that we have to focus on, and we have to focus on now. The next step to this is legacy authentication. So legacy authentication is not supported by Microsoft. The reason it's not supported by Microsoft is even if you have MFA turned on, it bypasses it. So we need to disable legacy authentication across your entire tenant. And the next bit of great news, you already have the licensing for it. All we got to do is add the policy. So that's not really going to affect you, but that is a proactive security measure rather than waiting for something to happen. Let's get in front of this and get it done sooner, so that we can get it implemented next week.
Was the MFA, is it ran internally?
Is the MFA ran internally or through like Authenticator or other?
Good. Microsoft Authenticator.
Okay.
So the MFA for VPN, that has to be an application called Duo, just because the firewall does not support, I hate throwing out, let's just say the firewall does not support Microsoft Authentication. Otherwise, we would just use Authenticator. But for email, yes, Authenticator is the way to go, and not just hit approve, because you can hit that in your pocket on accident. We need to make sure it's a code. So that way, if someone hits it and somehow gets access to your password, someone can't accidentally approve. And I know that seems like, oh, yeah, I would never do that, but it happens. People do it. Phone's unlocked in the pocket, like I've called people on accident, you know? So if I can call people on accident, that's like 9 numbers. One click on accept. That's a lot easier. So the key thing is, A, making sure it's set up correctly, making sure it's enforcing everyone. But then that's all, hey, people need to have Authenticator on their phones. Is everyone okay with having Authenticator on their phones? If not, we have to discuss, do you want to go a less secure option of, text codes? But those can easily be spoofed, which I'm not a fan of. So this is just kind of a holistic thing to think about. I would recommend Authenticator across the board, but, it's also, we need your buy-in as well. So whatever you guys are willing to work with, we will do. But it's critical to have future cyber insurance guaranteed. It'll not be covered, or your rates will skyrocket if this is not in place.
What
across the
VPN?
next term.
I mean, the VPN's not compatible with Authenticator. Which one are we running?
We will be running Duo. Oh, which firewall?
What
Sophos.
is VPN?
Yeah, Sophos firewall with Duo for the using Radius for authentication. So, and Duo is same thing. So, you would assume Microsoft Authenticator, they would make it so you can do MFA on your computer. No. So Duo is the premier. If I need to authenticate on my computer, I want that. So Duo is a partner that we work with, and that basically fills in the gaps that Microsoft has not yet taken over. Will Microsoft take them over? Guaranteed. Eventually they're going to want that money. But for now, Duo is the option.
Are you guys using the Windows VPN at all?
In this case, no, because it really matters what is compatible with the firewall. So the firewall has a specific client that it uses, and for that, it needs to use Radius. So it's not directly connecting to the server, it's just a group. And then from there, that triggers within Duo to do that. We have used that depending on the product. Different firewalls have different things. There's FortiGates out there, there's a Meraki, there's other items, but specifically for Sophos, this is the best option.
Are you guys able to do any single sign-on for the? Of course, we don't do a lot besides emails here, but for the rest of the city users accessing multiple systems, are they able to use single sign-on through Microsoft or?
So the Radius would be using the Active Directory accounts. So that way it should be single sign-on-ish. I'm not going to say that all your programs will now be single sign-on, but for that, it would be authenticating with something that's known, not just a local account. So either, I'm not the project working it would either be Active Directory or Enter ID, but either way, those two will be connected. So it should all be tied together. Because yes, who wants to have another password to remember? It's all about ease of use and security, where the two work together.
Any disruption with the disabling the legacy authentication? I don't.
So, no. So here's what my process is for disabling legacy authentication. First, I do a full audit over 30 days of logs for any legacy authentication in use. Because there might be a couple in there where, like a scanner, if I do scan using SMTP, that's legacy authentication. So what we do in those cases is I create a policy saying legacy authentication is disabled except when coming from this IP address with this account. That way, the only way that account can be used is here. So in situations where you need to use legacy authentication, we have a way of securing it still.
Great.
So yes, we don't just blindly disable it and then tell us if something breaks.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Let me know how Thursday goes.
Are there any other questions for Aaron? Aaron, you guys, is there any other part of your slide you want to go through? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we do hardware procurement. We help strategize. The main thing is, anytime we do a project for you, we actually have a solutions architect that we book, and we sit down to make sure we do research to make things are compatible, try to make the project as smooth as possible. Because if anyone's ever worked a project, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone go front to back without any kind of hiccups. So we do to minimize whatever we can. Summary and next steps. We can probably, I'll get a little more into this. The main thing that we're getting with this new contract is called a dedicated IT advisor, and that is something you guys have never gotten before. So this is a brand new role that you guys will be getting to leverage on top of myself and James. Mindy gets to meet a brand new person named Mark Hartman. I've worked with him for 13 years. So basically he manages a 1 to 3 year strategic annual IT roadmap, including your budget planning. He kind of mid-year and annual IT roadmap review with the city stakeholders, as well as upcoming IT roadmap for future growth, and then assists with preparing the city's annual cybersecurity risk insurance application, and then just participates with, participates and supports the city's account manager, which would be myself, and other applicable company resources. So that's just a new position you'll be introduced to in the coming months, and looking forward to working with.
Well, the technology has been a major investment of ours for very important reasons, as they were outlining today. Mindy has spearheaded that, but it's critical that we have really good systems, and particularly cybersecurity. I know, Greg, you're here tonight. Thank you for being here, and he's our partner on the cybersecurity insurance side of things. And we still have work to do, though, as you've outlined here.
Yeah, well, security is
Yeah.
It'll never stop, because if someone tells you you're done forever, then they're not a good partner.
Right.
All right, pleasure
Thank you
meeting
guys very much. As we move to the rest of the agenda, we do have one bill on first reading, two bills on second reading. Prior to getting into the first bill, that I'll turn over to Devin in a minute, I'd like to give some remarks. Tonight, our agenda includes two major policy initiatives: the Unified Development Ordinance, which sets forth modern best practices that will allow our community to deal with land use in a way that encourages and protects investment while improving quality of life in our city, and the new 2026 City of Madison Employee Handbook, which represents a comprehensive modernization of the city's personnel policies. In both instances, significant time has passed since these important policies were updated, and for Madison to thrive in the future, our policies must live in the future. The UDO will have its second reading tonight, while the 2026 Employee Handbook benefit portion is on its first reading. This updated handbook adds much-needed structure to our processes and several other enhancements that Jenna is going to outline. Overall, the handbook is designed to support a fair, accountable, and high-performing workplace while providing flexibility for our evolving needs. Adoption of the UDO and the new 2026 City of Madison Employee Handbook will ensure the City of Madison continues to be a great place to live, work, raise a family, visit, and invest. I'd like to thank all of those who have been involved in these policy initiatives, led by my staff, Tony Steinhardt, Minnie McGee, Jenna Gibbs, and greatly assisted by members of our City Plan Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, city staff, city council, citizen members, our constituents, and our consultants with New Focus HR, and Taylor Siefker Williams. Amy Williams is here tonight, who guided us through these year-long parallel initiatives. As with all our council meetings, after remarks from Jenna, we will begin the reading of the ordinance and allow public comment. We will give any interested party the opportunity to provide remarks for up to 4 minutes about the ordinances on our agenda. Also, at the end of the meeting, we will allow anyone to give remarks on any other topics, also up to 4 minutes, if you have signed in. The privilege to speak is a chance to share your thoughts or concerns with the mayor's office and your city council representatives as we deliberate and evaluate the ordinances. Please keep your remarks succinct and respectful. Devin, I'll turn it over to you for our bill on first reading.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 2026-6C, entitled An Ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison Repealing and Replacing Ordinances 1982-6, 2008-17, Policy and Procedure Manual, Employee Benefits Provisions, and Ordinance 2023-12, Parental Leave Policy. It's on first reading.
Jenna?
Hi, everyone. I just want to apologize beforehand. I'm going to read from my sheet. There's a lot of information. I just don't want to miss anything. So, in 2021, I had the opportunity to intern with the City of Madison under Mindy. One of my first projects was reviewing the employee handbook, which at that time dated back to 2008 and no longer reflected current workplace practices or employment regulations. After being hired full-time that year, I continued updating policies one at a time, but it quickly became clear that the full handbook revision was a much larger project than we could manage alongside day-to-day responsibilities. In early 2024, we contracted with New Focus HR to assist with the revision. They work with several government entities, including Jefferson County, and paired us with a representative who previously worked for the state of Indiana. And over the past 2 years, we reviewed multiple drafts and ensured policies align with current workplace practices, gathered feedback from department heads, and worked with Council Member Josh Wilbur to gain additional operational insight. Our most recent updates address compliance with insurance liability coverages, and the document before you represents the final draft of this update. The City of Madison transitioned from a department-driven procedural manual to a legally compliant, HR-centered, and risk-managed employment system designed for modern public sector operations. Focusing specifically on the employee benefits section, the city's core benefits like vacation, sick leave, holidays, and FMLA have largely stayed the same. The biggest changes here are around clarity, organization, and making sure everything is aligned with current state and federal requirements. There are a few updates I wanted to call out specifically. We added Indiana Child Educational Activities Leave, which allows eligible employees to take unpaid leave for certain school-related events. Military leave was also expanded to better explain employee rights and to create a more consistent internal process for tracking and administering that leave. Within the existing benefits, there were some targeted updates. Vacation and sick leave weren't significantly changed, but now have clearer accruals and usage guidelines. Bereavement leave was expanded to better define relationships and outline a process of if additional time is needed. Personal time off is still the same overall, but expectations around how it's used are now more clearly defined. One of the bigger changes is the transition from parental leave policy to a broader personal leave policy. Instead of limiting paid leave to childbirth or adoption, the updated policy allows eligible employees to take paid leave for qualifying medical situations involving themselves or family members. The goal there was to make the policy more flexible and equal while still aligning with FMLA and ADA requirements. The 2026 handbook brings the city into alignment with current federal and state employment laws, including Pregnancy Workers Fairness Act and expanded ADA protections. It creates a professional HR-centered system with consistent hiring, training, and harassment policies, rather than relying on decentralized department-based procedures. The handbook strengthens data security, transparency, and accountability, clearly defining managerial roles between department heads and the mayor's office. Finally, it supports a flexible, performance-oriented workforce that can adapt to changing operational needs, all while reducing the city's legal exposure and providing clear guidance for employees and supervisors. Overall, the goal of these updates wasn't to take anything away, but to make sure the handbook was more clear, compliant, and consistent while better supporting both employees and the city moving forward.
Jenna, thank you. And I know council may have a few questions for you. I just want to emphasize this was a pretty long and arduous initiative because of the 16 years, I think, that has passed since this topic was last visited. So a lot has changed in the employment world. And this was a companion project, council, that we did with regard to improving time management systems prior to leading into the policy elements of it. And some of the time management improvements are still underway. But we'll now turn it over to see if the council has any questions, and we'll hear any public comment on the benefits portion of the employee handbook.
I don't have any questions, but no, I'm not going to drill you. I obviously was part of this.
Come on, you can do it.
No. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of people that think that this is very easy and you just pull it down from ChatGPT and it's all good to go, and that's just not how it works. It helps, but it's not how it works. You put a lot of effort into this. I know how much effort you put into this, so I just want to commend you on that and thank you for that, because it is important. It's important for the employees of the city of Madison to know and what's expected, right? And it also helps the department heads, it helps management know what their role is when it comes to this. So it is extremely important that this is correct. So congratulations, Steve, for doing that. Thank you.
I know this is first reading it, but council, any questions or comments for Jenna? If not, is there anybody here in the audience who would like to make a statement to the mayor or your council representatives with regard to the benefit portion of the handbook as reflected in ordinance 2026-6C? Hearing none, move back to Second reading. And now we're on. Now I'm going to go to the rest of the agenda. Council, are there any reports, recommendations, or other business from standing or select committees of the City Council? I will just mention one thing, and we spent a lot of time on policy development. Last year was a big year for that. We had a few major policy initiatives like the UDO and the handbook carryover from last year. In a couple of weeks, we'll be presenting the Crooked Creek stormwater and flood mitigation plan. But as it relates to our standing committees, I believe it's time for us to reevaluate event management in the city of Madison. The Board of Public Works, meets the Monday prior to the council meetings, and each of those meetings has quite a bit of applicants on our agenda for street, park closures, city resources to support events, and we're all supportive of our growing and very thriving tourism industry, but I think we need to put some structure around it, kind of like what we're doing with the handbook. So I will be reaching out to one of our standing committees to schedule a meeting soon to kind of get your input on event management, and we'll bring in some other stakeholders too who are in that space for the city. We do not have any reports from city officials, so we'll move on to bills on second reading.
All right, with the first bill on second reading is ordinance 2026-4, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, repealing and replacing the zoning ordinance and subdivision control regulations by adopting the Unified Development Ordinance and zoning maps for the City of Madison, Indiana, as read by the title. Are there any additional comments or questions from the council?
And what I would do is maybe invite Amy to...
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was going to introduce Amy Williams, our consultant from Taylor Seifer Williams, to just give an update. And, we have been in this process for quite a long time. I think we started it in 2024, I think around October.
The end of 2024.
October, November of 2024, so it's been a parallel process with our other key initiatives. And tonight we're finally here after going through the Plan Commission and the first reading and now the second reading. The information that we are considering tonight has been made publicly available for many, many months. I think starting last November, once the adoption version was starting to really come together, as well as an update at the last meeting. You gave an overview of the proposed amendments that went through Plan Commission, and the incorporation of all the public comment that we had received to date, as well as from the public open house and the elected officials training. So there's been a lot of opportunity for comment along the way. But I know that we have our friends here who are in the buffer zone, and that's an area that the City of Madison regulates from a planning and zoning perspective. And I was going to ask you to give an update because there's been some concern about solar. We have worked very hard to make sure that we are not creating disruption to those that live in the buffer zone. And I believe that we have done a good job of investigating and receiving input with regards to commercial energy. And we've had lots of conversations with Jefferson County and the Jefferson County's UDO with regards to solar and other forms of commercial energy. But for tonight, I'd like you to maybe just go ahead and get this topic out there with regards to where commercial energy can reside.
Yes.
And how if it was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals, because there's no right for any commercial energy to be located anywhere. But Amy, I'll turn it over to you. Let's go ahead and get that out front so that our friends here can feel comfortable that we've properly addressed it.
Absolutely, and that was one of the new comments we heard, I believe it was the last meeting, is the setbacks for solar within the RA district or adjacent to the RA district. So wanted to make sure we did our due diligence and looked at how could that actually be implemented or be impacted on the actual zoning map. So currently, just to do a quick recap, the ordinance that is before you all today, commercial solar requires a 500-foot setback from the closest edge of any existing dwelling, church, school, or cemetery. So if there's an existing house on a parcel, it doesn't matter what it's zoned, it's a 500-foot setback from that house itself. So that's the first one. We also then have a setback from a parcel without a dwelling, but if it's either platted for residential, so it has a recorded subdivision plat, regardless of the zoning, or if it's zoned R1, 2, or 3, so or HDR, our residential districts, right? That is a 500-foot back from the setback from the property line. So the idea there is trying to catch, again, something that might be in the motions of residential or going towards that aspect, so it's either platted for residential in any zone or it's zoned residential, basically. That's the 500, and that was the question. The question was why isn't RA, which is our residential, our rural residential, basically, within the buffer area included? So I did a really quick sketch here. So I kind of went and looked at anywhere that it is a possibility. It would still require approval from the BZA and a public hearing process where everybody gets to give their input and we look at findings. Currently, or as it's proposed, it'd be within the ag district or heavy industry, right? So those are the only two places or two districts that it could go within if it got approved through a public hearing process through the BZA. So I've kind of quickly again, this was just printing it out real quick and doing a quick hash of the red. So I looked at, where does that abut an RA district, right? So that's kind of more of the concern, is if RA abuts this area, we want to make sure we're taking adequate provisions. So if you flip to the second page down, Mindy, I zoomed in. So really the only place is along Dawson Smith Road. The lighter yellow areas, there's one on the right and one on the left, those are the only RA areas that abut either ag or heavy industry. The one to the right side of your screen, I just went in on Google and I put dots on all the parcels that had maps on them. On the map, I put dots on every parcel that had a house on them. So on the right side or the east side of your drawing here, the map, those parcels on the north side of Dawson Smith have houses on them. They're zoned ag, but it doesn't matter. So it's going to be 500 feet back from that house regardless. So that RA parcels to the south side of Dawson, east of 421, it's already going to be taken, that would be taken care of. On the west side of 421, the other small area there are houses on about 3 of those parcels there. I think there are about 5 or 6 of those parcels that are RA. To the north, there are some additional houses. So again, you're going to be 500 feet back from those houses that are on those parcels anyway. So there's very limited ability for it to really interact within the RA aspect. I'm going to have you flip back, Mindy, to the first page. If you do look, a lot of the buffer, it's not actually zoned RA. So this brighter yellow to the kind of east and west side of the city, those are zoned R1. So that's, even though they are large parcels, they feel very ag-like, they're zoned R1, or currently R4. They would be, again, that conversion, it would become an R1. So those really are already considered within that 500 foot. It's just some areas around, kind of to the south near Clifty and a few of those areas to the kind of, again, in between those kind of ridges and valleys there, that don't abut, though, ag, and they don't abut heavy industry. So we wanted to make sure we at least did our due diligence and make sure we looked into it to see, or at least so that you guys had the information to be able to consider. So that was the only thing right now. The final draft, it was the cleanup version, had all of those 4 amendments. It still reads that it is 500 feet from a dwelling or 500 from a platted residential parcel or a residential zone parcel.
And we have a page on our website, the UDO, the zoning page, so it's a work project page. And each draft that we've published has been placed there for public viewing, as well as the Plan Commission certification, as well as this adoption version that included the amendments are recommended by the Plan Commission that were approved at the last council meeting. So everything has been out there for public viewing.
Since about Thanksgiving was the first into November when we had the first draft
right,
posted.
Thanksgiving. Any questions, council, for Amy while she's at the podium? Hearing none, is there any public comment with regards to ordinance 2026-4. If there's public comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Please give your remarks, and please keep your remarks succinct and respectful, and we've got 4 minutes.
Hello, Council. My name is Sherry Chabo. I live in Deputy Pike and Deputy. And I've been working with the buffer zone group of people. They're my neighbors and my friends. And I think that Amy has addressed a lot of the questions. It just so happens that the 2 areas that she's pointed out that are is that the egg 2, the R2? RA, okay. The people that own those 2 parcels are here. So that's interesting, but you're talking a 500-foot setback for where the houses were there.
Hey, ma'am, please, if you direct your comments
I'm
to
sorry,
council.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to talk
okay.
to your person here to answer what's on this map right here, since we don't have that. It's not available to us on a public record.
It's been in the document on the website.
No, this is stuff that she's just added right through here.
The map has been in the document the entire time. She's just delineating for the question.
I'm talking
that was
about the
raised earlier.
delineation here. So I have looked at your records, and your records were changed since the last time. So it wasn't since November. You guys made some adjustments, which I'm thankful for. So you moved the setback to 500 feet. So thank you for that. So the other question that I have in the UDO is that you guys did add the word and definition for a data center. So thank you. But no protections. Not addressing anything as like we're going through here with solar, with setbacks, energy requirement, water. This is going on across the whole country. This is going across in Indiana, and I'm going to ask the council to please consider a moratorium, or to send it back to your council, to your plan commission, in order to address protections for the community. I know that they can only go in an industrial, and there's only so much that you can do, but these are issues that need to be addressed countywide, so that's why I'd like to address with you here. And the setbacks on anything that doesn't have a house then is only 200 feet, not 500 feet. It'd only be for an existing house or a platted in any place other than the R2. So I just wanted to make those clarifications. And do you have any plans on doing anything with data centers as far as addressing further revisions? That would be an amendment that would go later.
I will say that, as we've talked about the last meeting, this is a document that we're not going to put on the shelf for the next 10 years or so. We've already talked about when we would revisit this, similar to what the county did, which is what's our experience with this document and what changes need to be made. So tonight there are no proposed amendments that I'm aware of. We haven't gone through the rest of the meeting, but that doesn't mean that in the future if something changes that it could be addressed then.
So that's what I'm asking for, some type of a referral back to your plan commission to at least have a exploratory commission before we end up back into another situation. You want to protect your citizens here. So we're trying to be proactive instead of reactive. We all live in this community. We want to work together. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any, okay. Yeah, come on, please come up. If you could, please give your name and address.
Oh, sure.
And we'll get started.
My name is Cindy Goley. I live at 2698 West Black Road here in Madison. We own on both sides of Highway
Sorry, Miss Goldie, she might need your,
on Black Road. Yes, ma'am. But we own the farm across from the highway also. So we go north with our farmland over to Deputy Pike almost. So I was confused because I thought we were at 500 feet even over by Deputy Pike, because we also have children that live along there and own property. And so then I was told it was 350 feet, and then I don't know where the 200 feet came in. I got confused because we have a son that came down with heart failure. Paul has congestive heart failure, and we've had the flu at our house with some people, so I got behind here somewhere. So I just needed to know, as someone who has children and the family's been there for so many years, and we hope to be there a lot longer. You guys got my rather exciting email last night about how I felt. But I just really wanted to make sure that we're protected in the future. How much setback are we guaranteed with the passing of this up by Deputy Pike? That I haven't seen this. So I'm not sure. When you talk about it only involves a few houses, were you talking about as far as Deputy Pike area?
We don't go that far north.
To the north?
I don't believe our buffer zone goes that far north. Amy can delineate it, but
I know
the northern
we are
boundary of that
included
would fall
at
under the
Goldie's.
county UDO.
Pardon me. Well, I know that we're included at Goldie's Orchard, all of the farmland, and our son's property is almost adjoining that. So that's why I wanted to make that clear while I had the opportunity, since I didn't have time to talk to anybody about it. So what is the footage back there? If it's not, that's only county. We would only talk to county. So how far does the city go
I'm gonna let
to
Amy,
deputy?
if you'd like to address that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Also, make
we've
sure that we
matched-
understood.
We've mirrored
Paul's
many of
sick or
their
he'd be here.
provisions,
Yeah,
but
so Deputy Pike, try to stand behind that.
Yeah.
Is this stud.
Yes.
So, just to, for
okay,
reference,
that's,
part of it is in, I'm gonna grab your mic, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Should I
sure,
just
sure.
So for their own sanity later, so Deputy Pike, a piece of it is in the buffer, pieces in the county. On that side, you cannot put, by the proposed ordinance, solar cannot go in the buffer over there, within RA or R1. So you're good from that perspective. Again, where that red stripe is, it'd have to be on the other side of, is that State Road 7 coming up? If you're on Deputy Pike, you're in R1 or RA, and you don't have ag or heavy industry next to you. So from the county's perspective, though, that's, we did try to largely mirror their standards after the public meeting in December, and that's where we came back with, again, our rural districts, we left as one, our residential districts, which is what the county does, is the 500 from the parcel line. So you can't put solar in the buffer on this area. And if it comes in at the county, our ordinances don't matter. Yeah, because
Data centers would be also considered in that?
data centers are
If they do
heavy
come in-
industry.
like the
So
heavy industry.
they'd have to be in that dark purple area.
What about RA?
Not by right.
What about agricultural, RA, R1 or whatever, R2, agricultural? What about the agricultural?
Can they go in there? No.
That's all I really want to know is what kind of buffer we have. So, thank you for your time. Thanks for reading my email last night.
Ms. Gold, I didn't
whipped
receive
it out
an
pretty
email from you.
fast.
Did I?
I'm sorry. I should have sent you one also.
Okay, thank you.
But anyway, thank you for your time, and, it involves our children, so I have to say, ask questions and find out. And Paul, like I said, my husband knows more about it than I do, and he's sick at home with the flu right now. But anyway, thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll keep our eye on it.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? Oh. Yeah. Please come up and give your name and address and stand.
My name is Cheryl Tandy, and it's 3189 North Paper Mill.
I'm sorry, was it Tandy?
Yeah, Tandy with a T.
And what was the address?
3189 North Paper Mill.
Thank you.
Can you explain to me on the farm ground with no houses? We were confused on the setbacks.
Yep. Question, farm ground. Now, we say farm ground, but you're going to have to go by the zoning district type, and Amy will respond to that, Ms. Sandy.
We didn't bring our glasses, I'm sorry.
Let me, first grab the mic from you, just so that it gets recorded. I know that helps with theirs. So she asked again on ag, different from farmland versus ag zone. So a lot of the area off of like Deputy Pike, off to the west side, that's zoned R1, even though those are farms out there. So it doesn't feel R1, but it is zoned R1. So again, in the ag area, it can only go there by special exception, which means it goes through a public notice process, a public hearing process, and then the BZA evaluates that based on certain findings, certain criteria. So the green is that light green to the north side, that's the ag zone. So if you're to the east or west of the city, you're actually not zoned ag. You might be a farm, or have farmland, but it's only the green areas are zoned ag. Yes, sir.
So we
And
have
that's north of
500
Dawson.
We have 500 setback in the yellow then?
If you're zoned R1, so the darker yellow, yes, the lighter yellow is the RA, but again, solar can't go in that district.
In the dark yellow.
Any of the yellows.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of the yellows, solar cannot go in. And again, like she asked about the data centers, those can only go in industrial, I-1 and I-2, so.
See, that was confusing because we own, a lot of property right there on both sides of 420.
Mr. Tanny, may I ask you to speak into the microphone, please? We can catch you on record. Thank you.
We have a lot of property there on Deputy Pike and 300 and on both sides of 421. Well, that was confusing on what we was listening to about where it could go and where it couldn't go. And the 500-foot setback, does that 500 setback from the edge of the property or the edge of the house?
As Amy was talking about, if there is a home there, it's from the home. If it's platted, for example, residential, it'd be from the edge of the property.
Okay, because the piece of property, I don't know if you know where Pickle Station is. That's
Sure,
350.
of course.
Okay, we own both sides of there, so they would have to go from that house 500 feet.
Yes.
In every direction, because there's houses north, south, east, and west of that group of parcels.
And only if it is an agricultural and industrial abutting district. So it's not that they can just put a data or commercial solar anywhere.
Right.
It can only goes in those two, and if it does go in those two, by special exception, it has to be so much distance away from any residence or property line if it's platted for a residence.
So that would mean if there's 500 from this house on the east, 500 from this house on the west, so that would be 1,000 total.
Could be.
Okay.
Again, this is, I want to clarify, we have worked really hard not to create an impact on our rural and agricultural areas. Commercial, solar, energy, data centers, they really belong in industrial areas, and the council has supported that all along. More industrial and things away from residential areas.
Right.
So I think that this UDO accomplishes that, and it's consistent with also Jefferson County.
But like you said, no matter what direction, it would be 500 feet from that dwelling.
Yes.
Okay. That's what was confusing me, because if you only do the 500, that's only 250 on
Right,
each side.
right.
So if it's 500 from every dwelling, then
Right.
that's more acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Thanks, sir. Hopefully this discussion has been helpful to clarify. We want to make sure everybody feels comfortable with this. Is there any additional public comment? Now I'll turn it over to our clerk for a roll call. Ordinance 2026-4.
Patrick Taverneau,
Yes.
Carla Krebs,
Yes.
Lucy DiTillo is absent, Josh Schaefer,
Yes.
Joel Storm,
Yes.
Jim Bartlett,
Yes.
and Josh Wilbur.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Moving on, we have one other bill to address tonight.
Ordinance number 2026-5, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, amending certain portions of the City of Madison Traffic Code Ordinance is found in Chapter 73 of the City of Madison Municipal Code. It's on second reading, so I'm going to start with council comment.
Just want to thank our sponsors for our bills tonight. We mentioned that, Councilman Wilbur for the handbook. Councilman Wilbur, our president of the Plan Commission, for the UDO, and Councilman Timenoff for the two-way stop at 2nd and Central Streets. Council, any comments, any public comment on ordinance 2026-5 establishing a two-way stop at 2nd and Central Streets? Seeing none, we'll go to roll call.
Patrick Taverneau,
Yes.
Carla Krebs,
Yes.
Lucy DiTillo is absent, Josh Schaefer,
Yes.
Joel Storm,
Yes.
Jim Bartlett,
Yes.
and Josh Wilbur.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Thank you, Devin. Moving on through the agenda. Councilwoman Krebs, is there any public comments per the sign-up sheet?
I do have some names. And I want to remind you that at this time, the time limit is 3 minutes for public comment. First on my list is Debbie Beeman. Did you want to talk? No. Okay. Next, I have Sherry. Sorry, I can't read the last name. Chapo. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Sue Klein. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Not a whole lot to offer on the mayor's comments. I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight and all the work that's gone through this process and the input. Exciting news is on March the 30th, we will have our bid opening for our 2026 CCMG project. That includes quite a few neighborhood streets. It's important to our asset management plan for our roads. And our next meeting will be Tuesday, April the 7th at the next Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Our goal is to present the Crooked Creek Stormwater Master Plan that we've also been working on for quite a while. It began after the flash flood in 2021. So we will be bringing another important initiative to the community for discussion. And then from there, it'll be the planning and execution of a strategy and finding the funding to accomplish our mitigation for flash flood and stormwater. Council, do you have any remarks? Hearing none, I'll have a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here.
Good horse.
Shut down right now? Yeah. So she's like, once you're done. Okay. Like that.
We don't need more
Jim,
candy.
I'm
We
gonna
have plenty of candy.
disconnect. You all good?
I just tried to get you 3.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'll take it. Bye. I was like,